You sold a covered call, the stock's rallied past your strike price, and now you're worried your shares are going to get called away. Should you roll the covered call? Well, let's find out when it makes sense and when it doesn't. Just a quick reminder that everything discussed is for educational purposes only and is general in nature. What does rolling a covered call even mean? Rolling simply means closing your current short call and opening a new one. You can roll to a different strike, a different expiration, or both. The goal is to adapt as the market moves and keep your position working for you. Why should you roll a covered call? There are four main reasons to roll: to capture more premium, to avoid assignment when the stock moves higher, to increase the upside if you're bullish and don't want to cap your stock gains too early, and tax considerations if you don't want to get your shares called away, triggering capital gains tax, for example. Every option has two components to its price: intrinsic value and time value. Intrinsic value is the amount the option is in the money. So if you sold a 52.50 call and the stock is at 55, the intrinsic value is 250. Time value is the extra premium above the intrinsic value. And here's the critical part. Time value melts away as you approach expiration, just like an ice cube melting in the sun. The closer you get to expiration, the less time value remains in the option. When you roll a covered call, you're buying back the shorter dated option, which has less time value remaining, and selling a longer dated option, which has more time value. The difference in the time value is often where the credit comes from when you roll. You're capturing that time value differential. This is why rolling works. You're essentially harvesting time decay in your favor. So keep this concept in mind as we go through these scenarios. The first scenario we're going to look at is when the stock has dropped. Rolling down for more income. If the stock drops, your covered call will have lost value. You can buy it back cheaply and sell a new call closer to the current stock price. This increases premium collected and helps offset unrealized losses in the stock. The trade-off is that you're giving up some upside if the stock does rebound. Let's go and take a look at an example. Let's say we have a covered call on Netflix and the stock has dropped a fair bit in recent weeks, and the Feb 20 95 strike call has decayed in value and is now very low value with a low delta, and there's only around $43 in time premium remaining. So what we could do in this case is we could roll down to the 90 strike and we'll generate some extra premium. So we buy this one back for about 43 cents and then we sell this one for $1.20. We're generating close to $80 in premium. So we buy that one back and now we sell this one, and that's our new position. The downside is we have reduced our upside potential. So we're trading off generating more income for reducing our capital gain potential. But if the stock's in a bit of a downtrend, we're rolling that short call down closer to the money, generating that extra premium. The second scenario is when the stock's had a strong rally. Rolling up for more upside. If the stock rallies, your short call may be in the money or getting close to being in the money. To regain some upside, you can roll the call up to a higher strike. This will usually be a debit transaction. Think of it as buying back some upside potential for your position. The only way to do this for a credit would be to roll up in price and out in time, which we're going to look at shortly. But for now, let's just look at rolling up and we'll go through an example. This time we're looking at FCX, and the stock has had a fantastic rally in recent weeks. It's sitting up here at 61.13. And we've got a short call here at 59, so it's gone in the money. You can see our delta here is 65, and we've got no further capital gain potential in the trade. We're just trading the remaining time value in the position. Now, this is definitely something to keep an eye on, and I like the fact that Interactive Brokers Risk Navigator has this time value column, because while there's time value remaining in the position, the risk of assignment is actually pretty low, but we may want to roll anyway, just to give the position some more upside potential. If the stock is looking really bullish, we want to roll that up. So again, we'd buy this one back to close it. That's going to cost about $416. We could roll up and get it back out of the money at, say, that 63 strike, and we'll receive $2.20 for that. So it's going to cost us around $2 or $200 to roll up in this case, which is that debit transaction. So it's actually costing us premium. But we buy this one back and then we sell this one. And you can see we've given ourselves significantly better upside potential now. Our time premium is still relatively the same, but we've got another couple of $100 in capital gain potential now. The third scenario is when the stock has stayed relatively flat and you just want to extend the position and generate more premium. Rolling out in time. When expiration approaches, you can roll out to a later date. This lets you keep earning income from time decay while maintaining that covered call protection. Rolling out also helps if you want to avoid assignment and continue the strategy. Let's go and take a look. Here we're looking at a covered call trade on Nvidia, and we're getting very close to expiration. There's only about a week to go in this option. and it's quite far out of the money. It's unlikely that Nvidia is going to get up to that price. What we want to do is we want to roll out in time to generate some more premium. So we're going to buy this one back. That's going to cost around $68 to buy that one back. If we keep the strike price the same and we roll out to that 195 strike, we're going to generate around $380 in premium. So in total, that's going to be about a net $320, $310, $320 in premium. Let's take that one off, and we'll change our expiration date here. And you can see significantly more upside potential. Now we've got $12.50 in potential profit if it gets up to that 195 strike, whereas previously, we'll go back to our original position, we only had about 925 in total profit potential on the trade. So we've generated some extra premium and we've increased our profit potential on the trade. We'll just take a quick look at the delta as well. We've currently got an 84 delta overall. By rolling out, we actually reduced some of the risk on the position. We've actually reduced our overall delta to 66. That can be a good and a bad thing. If you're very bullish on the position, the lower delta may be bad, but you might be a little bit cautious on the underlying, and sometimes the reduced delta is actually a good way to reduce some of that directional risk while also generating some extra option premium. The last example we'll look at is rolling up and out. This is another common adjustment. Another common adjustment is rolling both up and out. For example, if your stock rallies above your strike, you might close the current call and sell a later dated higher strike call. This pushes your break-even price higher, keeps income flowing, and gives you some more upside room. Let's go and look at a couple of examples. We'll stay on our Nvidia example, and let's say instead of rolling and keeping the strike the same at 195, maybe we want to roll it up to 200. Again, we're now getting significantly more upside potential. We're up to around $1,600 in profit potential from our original position that only had about 900 or 925 in profit potential. We're still also rolling for a credit. We bought this one back for 68. We sell this for 232. That's roughly $1.60 in premium collection. We've also increased our time value component. Our theta is now 12, whereas previously our theta was 14 because it was shorter dated, but our actual time value is a lot higher. Let's go back to our FCX example where we rolled up, but in this case, we're actually going to roll up and out. So now instead of rolling to the 63 strike and keeping the expiration date the same, we're going to roll out to March and roll up to the 65 strike. Again, we buy this one back for $4.15. We sell that for $2.75. That's about $1.40 in debit. We've got $276 in time premium, whereas previously we only had $206 in time value. So we're increasing our time premium component and we're getting ourselves significantly more upside potential. So here we've got about $625 in total profit potential on the new position. Whereas if we go back to our original position, we only had about $200 in total profit potential. So even though it's a debit transaction, it's costing us a little bit of premium. We're actually significantly increasing our total profit potential on the trade. Rolling isn't always the right move. Sometimes the best decision is to just let your shares get called away and move on. Here are 3 situations where you should think twice about rolling. 1, you no longer want to own the stock. If your thesis has changed on the stock's fundamentals, the technicals have deteriorated, don't just roll to avoid assignment. Take assignment, bank the gain, and redeploy the capital elsewhere. Number 2, if the stock's rallied significantly and rolling up would require going out so far in time and so far up in strike that it doesn't make sense. Again, sometimes it's just better to take the win, let the shares get called away, move on to the next opportunity. And the third one is if the math doesn't work. So if you can't roll for a credit or the debit required is too large relative to the benefit, it's often better to just let the position go. Let's talk about some of the risks. The rolling isn't free. You might pay slippage and commissions, give up capital gain potential, or increase downside exposure. Always make sure the roll improves your position, either by boosting income, buying more time, or increasing your overall profit potential. So there you have it, when and how to roll covered calls with the mechanics broken down step by step. The key is to treat rolling decisions systematically, not emotionally. Don't roll just because you're afraid of assignment. Roll because the adjustment makes strategic sense for your position and your outlook. If you found the video helpful, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.